How often do you find yourself standing at a crossroads, tempted to leave behind a piece of who you are just to fit into someone else's expectations? Let me tell you something. You don't have to negotiate who you are. Not for approval, not for success, and certainly not for the comfort of others. Do not negotiate who you are is more than just a phrase. It's a principle, a way of living that demands you honor your own voice, your own truth, and your own identity. It's about refusing to shrink yourself to fit into spaces that were never meant to hold the fullness of your being. Today, we're going to uncover the incredible power that lies in embracing your authenticity. We'll explore why staying true to yourself is the most courageous and liberating choice you can make. Imagine this. There's someone who walks into a room where the air is heavy with unspoken expectations. They feel the weight of every gaze, the silent judgments that whisper, "Be like us," or risk being cast aside. This person stands at a crossroads, a choice to either blend in by wearing a mask or to stand tall in their truth, risking the discomfort of being different. In that moment, they make the decision to conform, thinking, perhaps it's easier this way. Perhaps this is what it takes to belong. At first, the choice seems harmless, even logical. They adjust their words, dilute their opinions, and stifle the parts of themselves that feel too much or not enough. They start to fit into the mold, receiving nods of approval and the illusion of acceptance. But beneath the surface, something begins to shift. The spark that once defined their uniqueness starts to dim. They feel out of place, not because they aren't accepted, but because they aren't truly present. They've left parts of themselves behind in exchange for validation that feels hollow. This is the cost of negotiating who you are. It's the quiet erosion of confidence as you question whether the real you is worthy. It's the growing discomfort of living a life that feels foreign, even when it seems acceptable on the outside. It's the restless unhappiness that comes from suppressing your true self for the sake of others. When you negotiate who you are, you create a divide within yourself. The version of you that the world sees is no longer aligned with the version of you that exists in your soul. And that disconnect, it's exhausting. It leaves you feeling stuck, like you're running a race in someone else's shoes, shoes that don't fit, that pinch and slow you down. But here's the truth. No matter how hard you try to conform, no matter how perfectly you mold yourself to fit the expectations of others, you can never truly be at peace if you're betraying who you are. And the irony is, the world isn't drawn to sameness, it's drawn to authenticity. The moments you feel most alive, the moments when you shine the brightest, are the moments when you embrace what makes you different, not what makes you the same. The choice to negotiate who you are might seem small at first, a little compromise here, a minor adjustment there. But over time, these small acts of self-betrayal add up, leaving you feeling like a shadow of your true self. And the longer you linger in that space, the harder it becomes to find your way back. But here's the good news. You can choose differently. At any moment, you can stop negotiating. You can reclaim the parts of yourself you've hidden and let them take center stage. It's not easy, but it's worth it. Because the freedom, the joy, and the fulfillment that come from living as your true self, that's a reward no approval or acceptance can ever match. Why do so many of us choose to silence our voices, hide our truth, or shrink ourselves into roles that don't fit? It's not because we lack the ability to be authentic. It's because we face forces that make it seem easier, safer, or even necessary to compromise. Let's explore these forces, because understanding them is the first step to breaking free. 1. Fear of rejection. At the core of many compromises lies fear, the fear of being judged, excluded, or left behind. Rejection can feel like standing alone in a crowded room, surrounded by people but disconnected, invisible. And so, to avoid this pain, many choose to conform. They trade authenticity for a false sense of belonging, thinking, if I just act like them, talk like them, or think like them, maybe I'll be accepted. But here's the paradox. The fear of rejection often leads to self-rejection. By negotiating who you are to fit in, you risk rejecting the most vital relationship you'll ever have, the one with yourself. 2. Desire for acceptance. Humans are wired to seek connection. The warmth of acceptance, the comfort of belonging, is a powerful pull. And yet, this desire can lead to dangerous compromises. You might find yourself laughing at jokes you don't find funny, agreeing with opinions that clash with your own, or hiding your talents to avoid standing out. The pursuit of acceptance is often a pursuit of harmony, but true harmony doesn't come from erasing yourself. It comes from finding people and places that value you for who you are, not who you pretend to be. 3. Social or cultural expectations. From the moment we're born, we're surrounded by messages about who we should be. Society sets rules, traditions, and norms, defining what's acceptable and what isn't. Whether it's how you look, how you act, or what you achieve, these expectations can feel like invisible walls closing in, shaping your identity to fit their mold. In some cases, the pressure is subtle, like an unspoken rule you're expected to follow. In others, it's loud and explicit, demanding you conform to roles that don't align with your essence. But here's the truth. These expectations are not universal truths. They're constructs, and you have the power to decide which ones you honor and which ones you leave behind. Pressure from relationships, workplaces, or communities. The pressure to compromise often comes from those closest to us, the people we work with, live with, or care about. A boss might expect you to suppress your creativity in favor of sticking to the plan. A partner might push you to change in ways that feel unnatural. A community might demand conformity to maintain its cohesion. These pressures are real, but they are not insurmountable. The strongest relationships, the healthiest workplaces, and the most vibrant communities are those that embrace diversity of thought, action, and identity. Negotiating who you are might feel like the easiest path in the moment, but in reality, it's a path that leads to disconnection from yourself and from the world. The fear, desire, and pressure are strong, but your authenticity is stronger. It's time to remember that the truest acceptance comes not from others, but from honoring the person you were born to be. There is an extraordinary power that comes from living authentically, from standing in the fullness of who you are without apology or hesitation. Authenticity isn't just a word, it's a way of being, a choice to honor your unique identity and let it shine. And when you embrace this power, you unlock a life of greater confidence, meaningful connections, and inner peace. 1. Greater self-confidence. When you live authentically, you free yourself from the exhausting cycle of pretending to be someone you're not. There's no more second-guessing, no more overthinking about whether you're saying or doing the right thing to fit into someone else's expectations. Instead, you move through life with a quiet assurance, knowing that you are enough exactly as you are. Authenticity builds confidence because it aligns your inner truth with your outer actions. You don't have to hide, shrink, or bend to be accepted. You can stand tall, knowing that your worth isn't up for negotiation. This self-assuredness is magnetic. It draws opportunities and people who respect and value the real you. Authenticity builds confidence because it aligns your inner truth with your outer actions. You don't have to hide, shrink, or bend to be accepted. You can stand tall, knowing that your worth isn't up for negotiation. This self-assuredness is magnetic. It draws opportunities and people who respect and value the real you. 2. Authentic relationships with others. When you show up as your true self, you create space for real, meaningful connections. People aren't drawn to perfection. They're drawn to authenticity. When you let go of the masks, you invite others to do the same. Relationships built on authenticity are deeper, stronger, and more fulfilling because they're rooted in honesty and mutual respect. They're not based on pretense or superficial approval, but on a genuine understanding of each other's hearts. These are the relationships that stand the test of time, that support and uplift you because they're built on the solid foundation of truth. 3. Alignment with personal goals and values. Authenticity is the key to living a life that's aligned with your deepest values and goals. When you stop trying to meet external expectations, you can finally focus on what truly matters to you. Your decisions become clearer, your goals more meaningful, and your path more fulfilling. Imagine living a life where every choice you make reflects your true desires, where you pursue dreams that resonate with your soul rather than chasing goals that feel hollow. That's the freedom authenticity offers. It allows you to create a life that feels like it belongs to you, not one shaped by the expectations of others. 4. Mental peace and reduced stress. Living authentically brings peace because it removes the tension of constantly trying to be someone you're not. The stress of wearing a mask, of balancing conflicting expectations, melts away when you embrace who you are. When your inner world aligns with your outer actions, you experience a profound sense of harmony. You stop worrying about what others think and start focusing on what truly matters. This mental clarity and peace create a life where you're no longer surviving, you're thriving. The gift of authenticity. Choosing to live authentically is not always easy, but it is always worth it. It's a declaration of self-worth, a commitment to your values, and an invitation to live a life of freedom, connection, and joy. When you embrace your true self, you don't just exist, you inspire. And that inspiration ripples outward, encouraging others to find the courage to do the same. Authenticity isn't just a gift to yourself, it's a gift to the world. Choosing to stop negotiating who you are is one of the most liberating decisions you can make. It's not just a declaration of self-respect, it's a commitment to living fully and authentically. But how do you start this journey? How do you silence the noise of expectations and step into the truth of who you are? Here are 4 actionable steps to help you reclaim your authenticity and live with purpose and confidence. 1. Know yourself. The first step to living authentically is understanding who you truly are. This means taking the time to explore your values, strengths, and boundaries. Ask yourself, what do I stand for? What truly matters to me? What makes me feel alive? Understanding your core values gives you a compass to navigate life. When you know what you believe in and what you stand for, you're less likely to compromise yourself to fit into someone else's expectations. Identify your strengths, the gifts and talents that make you unique. Recognize your boundaries, the lines you will not cross because they protect your well-being and integrity. Self-awareness is not a one-time exercise. It's a lifelong journey. Embrace it with curiosity and patience, knowing that every step brings you closer to the truth of who you are. 2. Set boundaries. Living authentically requires the courage to set and enforce boundaries. Boundaries are not walls. They are the lines that define where you end and others begin. They protect your energy, values, and sense of self from being overrun by external pressures. Learn to say no, not as an act of defiance, but as an act of self-respect. Saying no to situations, people, or opportunities that force you to compromise allows you to say yes to the things that truly matter. Boundaries are a way of honoring yourself and teaching others how to treat you. Remember, setting boundaries is not about being unkind. It's about being clear. It's about creating a life where you can thrive without losing yourself. 3. Surround yourself with support. The people you surround yourself with play a powerful role in shaping your life. Choose relationships that uplift and encourage you to be your true self. Seek friends, mentors, or communities that celebrate your individuality rather than pressuring you to conform. Being surrounded by supportive people creates an environment where authenticity can flourish. These are the individuals who see your worth, who remind you of your strengths, and who stand by you even when your path looks different from theirs. They are a reflection of what it means to live authentically, and their presence can be a constant source of inspiration. Celebrate your unique traits. What you may see as flaws or weaknesses are often the very things that make you extraordinary. Instead of hiding or downplaying your differences, celebrate them. Look for ways to turn those perceived weaknesses into strengths. Your quirks, passions, and perspectives are your superpowers. They set you apart and give you the ability to contribute something unique to the world. When you embrace these traits, you give others permission to do the same, creating a ripple effect of authenticity and courage. Empower yourself. Every choice you make to honor your authenticity is a step toward freedom. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to be real. By knowing yourself, setting boundaries, surrounding yourself with support, and celebrating your uniqueness, you reclaim the power to live a life that feels true to you. Let today be the day you stop negotiating who you are. Stand tall, speak your truth, and walk boldly in the direction of your dreams. The world doesn't need another imitation. It needs the real you. Step into your power and show the world what's possible when you choose authenticity. You don't have to change yourself to fit in. The world doesn't need another imitation. It needs your unique light, your voice, and your authentic self. Embrace who you are. Set boundaries that protect your essence. Surround yourself with those who celebrate you and turn your unique traits into your greatest strengths. Remember, your authenticity is your superpower. It's the foundation of confidence, meaningful connections, and a life aligned with your values. Don't let anyone take that away from you, least of all yourself. If this message resonated with you, take a moment today to reflect on where you might be negotiating your identity. Commit to one small change that honors your true self. And if this reminder can empower someone you know, share it with them. Together, let's create a world where authenticity is celebrated and lived boldly.